Hello everyone, welcome to another video lesson. I'm going to ask you to pause the video, okay, so you can copy this down. Once you're finished copying this down, you can go ahead and press play to continue. I forgot to mention, don't worry about the circles not being perfect. What I did was I used a quarter, okay? I used a quarter to help me draw the circles, so that might make it easier. But again, the circle doesn't have to be perfect. I just do that so I can I can explain better or better explain each one of these concepts. It helps me, I guess, psychologically. Okay, so arc measure, this one here, all you need to know is that you have a central angle, okay? This is a central angle, so that's angle ABC, okay? So for this is what we know. So if we want to okay, we want to say the measure of angle ABC. Okay, so that's the angle. And this here is the arc that central angle intercepts. Okay, so the measure of angle ABC is equal to the measure of arc AC. Okay, so that we know that this is an arc, this is how we know it's an arc. So just draw an arc above those 2 points or those 2 letters, and that means it's an arc. So for example, what if this angle, let's say for the sake of argument, is 85 degrees? If the central angle is 85 degrees, then the arc that is intercepted, in this case AC, is also 85 degrees, which is what this is saying. Okay. All right, so for circumference, you've seen this before. The formula for circumference that we'll be using is 2 pi r, but it's also pi d. Okay, so if we know the diameter, we can use the diameter. If we know the radius, we multiply the radius times 2 and multiply by pi, and that gives us the circumference. The next one, I don't believe you've seen this one before. Okay, so if we're interested in finding the measure of arc x, okay, so this is arc length. We just want to find the measure of this, or the length of this arc, okay, from here to here. What we do is we take the measure of the arc, okay, remember I said central angle and arc, so we're going to use that here. So we take the measure of this arc, and then we divide by 360, which is a full rotation around a circle, and then we multiply by the circumference. Okay, so I'm going to go over a couple of examples for each one of these here. Okay, so those are the formulas we're going to be using. So for this next example, this one is asking us to find the circumference, and then they want us to write leave your answer in terms of pi. So that means you're just going to compute the numbers, but at the end, you're not computing pi in your calculator. So I'm just going to state the formula for circumference. So this is equal to 2 pi times the radius. And we're given that the radius is 12. Okay, so then this equals 2 times pi times 12. So then we just multiply 2 times 12, and that's equal to 24 pi. And 24 pi meters. So this will be the circumference of this circle in terms of pi. The next two examples have to do with finding the arc length of the given arcs. Okay, so for the first example, notice they want us to find the length of each arc and leave your answer in terms of pi. Okay, so arc ST. So for this one here, we're looking at this arc. Okay, the measure of the arc is 94 degrees, but the length is what we're trying to find. Okay, so don't get confused between the measure of the arc and the length of the arc. Okay, measure is going to be in degrees, length is going to be in whatever units. In this case, it will be meters. So I'm going to use this formula here. Okay, I'm going to just state it for now, and then we'll work through it. So if I want to find the arc length, that is equal to, I'm going to take the measure of the arc, the intercepted arc, and divide that by 360, okay, which is a full rotation around a circle. And then I'm going to multiply that by the circumference of the circle. So that's 2 pi times the radius. Okay? All right. So like I said, the measure of the arc in this case is ST. So it's this arc. So that's 94 degrees. And divide that by 360. And then multiply that by the circumference. So this is 2 times pi times the radius. In this case is 9. Okay, so 9. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply 94 times 2 times 9. And once I get the product of those three numbers, I'm going to divide that by 360. And when I do that, I end up with 4.7 and in terms of pi, so keep the pi, and this is meters. So the arc length of that arc is equal to 4.7 pi meters. Okay, so there's one example. The second example, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to just draw this line here to separate the two problems. So for this one, I already had the formula here, so I'm just going to plug in or substitute the values into that formula. So again, we're looking at the same circle, okay, but now we're looking for this length of the arc TU. And we know the measure of the arc is 55 degrees. So we're going to find the length now. So the arc length of TU is going to be equal to, the arc is 55 degrees. Divide that by 360, okay, and then multiply that by 2 pi times the radius. The radius is 9, so times 9. And then this is equal to multiply 55 times 2 times 9, and then divide that by 360, and that gives you 2.75 pi. And again, this is meters. So the arc length is equal to 2.75 meters. Okay. All right. So I try to keep this video lesson short. I hope that helps you. And if you're still kind of confused about these examples, you can always send me a message or an email so I can help you. Okay. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves. I'll talk to you on the next video lesson. Bye-bye.